Hello, everybody. This is round 13 from the Tata Steel Chess Tournament. Congratulations to Wesley So, who just completed his last round game against Ian Nepomniachtchi. And Wesley So had the black pieces, and Nepomniachtchi had the white pieces. This game was a miniature. So D5, knight of 6, bishop G5. There's the Trompowsky again, rearing its ugly head into the chess world. D5. Okay, one of many ways to play. This is one of the original ways of playing against it. Just simply attacking the bishop. The bishop either goes here, here, and sometimes you even see this move played. There's D5 as was played. C5 is another way to deal with it. So there's many ways to play. D5 is pretty solid. Wesley So, being in the lead in the tournament, is not really trying to take any chances, and nor does he have to. Knight D2 and C5. So just immediately hitting the unprotected center. And that's what you do when your opponent doesn't put pressure on your center and allows you to basically do what you want to do. You hit his center. You pressure his center. In other words, if you have the black pieces and your opponent is playing passively, you play as if you had the white pieces. You play for the initiative. What do I mean? For instance, D4, D5, C4. Notice how C4 immediately pressures white center. Excuse me, black center. So black can't play a liberating move like that right now. There's pressure from the C4 pawn forces black to make some type of concessions. In this case, he blocks in the bishop here. Then you get all of this stuff going on. Again, it's because of the pressure. Black cannot make this liberating move right away without incurring weakness. But if the first player plays passively and doesn't really put a lot of pressure on the center, for instance, with the move like that, then black can basically do what he wants to do. He plays C5. He attacks in the center. So D takes C5. Now, Wesley So played E6. E5 is also playable. Just taking the center and threatening here. And then you get, after say B4, knight C6. And black has full control of the center at the cost of this pawn. Okay, so Wesley didn't opt for that. He played E6, and then Nepomniachtchi played E4. Okay, relying on this pin. H6, bishop H4. And now Wesley So took. And Queen E2. Now instead of that, from Wesley So, bishop takes C5 was possible. The idea being E5 and then just simply G5. And say after bishop G3, knight of D7. And black is fine there also. Instead, he took. And white has a slight initiative in the center. Nepomniachtchi played a little bit too ambitious here in castling queenside, where maybe after just C3, liberating this knight to be able to capture here was a little better. This right here might be a bit premature, even though it looks good. And black is just fine, just fine here with the bishop here and some open lines compensating for his lack of a good pawn structure there. But instead of castling queenside, c3, blocking the action, blocking the action of this queen on this diagonal right here. And then let's say, for instance, a move like bishop takes c5 is not playable because of b4. And if queen takes c5, now you grab this guy, bishop takes f6, and then on g takes f6, you gain time against the queen, and you threaten here. And black is in a little bit of hot water at that point. Instead, Nepomniachtchi went for castling and left this pawn on prise. And Wesley So picked up the pawn. Now, it's easy to see why he would do that. I mean, he has a nice lead in development. So it looks like that he should be able to overrun black's position. But here, there's only one open file, and it is kind of difficult to get to the king. And then at the same time, white's pieces are jumbled up together here on the D and E files. They're not exactly super coordinated for action right now. But we could see Nepomniachtchi had these ideas of using these open diagonals and files, the D file and the A4 to E8 diagonal, to try to checkmate Wesley So here. So he played queen to B5 check. Again, this move right here doesn't really do too much. I mean, it doubles the pawns, but after just queen A1, right, knight B1 is forced. G takes, queen takes, and now this is coming, so perhaps A6. Knight E2, and then bishop G7. Black is still fine here. So he opted for queen B5 check. And after knight BD7, C6, B takes C6. Nepomniachtchi's ambition gets him in trouble. As you can see, the black queen rather, is just lingering here on A2, and now the B file is open. So it's obvious that the rook wants to come here. The knight is here, protecting that square, and then checkmate white on B2. So he takes another pawn. Bishop comes here. Beautiful move. I don't know if Nepomniachtchi overlooked this move or just dismissed it as not being adequate. But Wesley plays this move in order to draw the bishop to a vulnerable square. So now he's on the B file. There's the check. The knight comes back, and now you see what I'm talking about. Now you have the rook on B8 lined up and coordinating with the queen on B2. So he has to give up his queen, and the game is over for all intents and purposes, because again, there's no way for white to really get to the black king here. And now Wesley So just simply catches up in development. And Nepomniachtchi was probably playing on adrenaline here. So knight C5, H4, rook D8, and he could have resigned a few moves ago, but Who wants to lose in under 20 moves? So rook h3, and another strong move by Wesley. So the idea is just simply opening up the file right here. If c takes d3, then rook takes d4. So it's an interference sacrifice. So you can see the protection of the knight on d4 is cut off. So he throws that in there, and this knight is now exposed. So bishop takes, and there it is. Rook takes d4 with tempo, so the bishop is still attacked. Bishop must move, and he plays rook takes d1. He could have also played this move also, but it's reasonable to just trade down. He's already, has a serious advantage. Simplify, simplify, simplify. So bishop takes d1, queen a5, knight d2, and he starts pushing the pawns. f5, rook g3. Of course, protecting that, attacking that. Knight comes out, g3, queen d4, and of course Nepomniachtchi is trying to set up some kind of barricade here, fortress. But as Magnus would say, we don't believe in fortresses, not in this position. Knight b4, and Nepomniachtchi resigned at 28 moves, so this would qualify as a miniature. The game is over. There's no defense here. So again, congratulations to Wesley So, as usual. Hope you learned a little bit in that game. I mean, that game was just pretty much a demolition, but I just wanted to show it because it was important as far as the tournament standings were concerned. And also, to me, this marks the beginning of a new era, and this is the Wesley So era. And definitely, if anybody had any doubts to his legitimacy as a world candidate, let all doubts be erased, as he had a dominating tournament and never, as I remember right now, was he in any serious trouble throughout the whole tournament. So great tournament by Wesley So. All right, see you guys next time.